Hey, Ola, you can feel free to jump in at any point in time. 2 seats are open. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, Certified Financial Educator, and we are back. Yes, it is Terrific Tuesday, and we are back in the building. And today we're going through the 15 laws of valuable growth back on this thing. We're in law, I believe we're in law number 6. This law number 6 or 7? Where we at, Pat? Law number 6?
Now you make me get my book up again.
Oh, my goodness. Don't worry, Pat. I'm right here. This is law number 7.
Number 7.
Law number 7, the law of design. So the law of design is to maximize growth. You want to develop strategy. So we're starting on day number 1. Yesterday we had Motivational Monday, and now we're going through to start talking about this law of design. So in case you don't know, guys, let's just do a quick recap. We had law number 1, which is law of intentionality. You want to know exactly where you want to go in life. Law number 2, the law of awareness. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of those that can actually mentor you. It can help pull you up. Law number 3, the law of the mirror. You want to know what you see when you look in the mirror. Hopefully you see great. Hopefully you see awesomeness when you look at your very own self in the mirror, the man in the mirror. Law number 4, law of reflection. Yes, you want to take moments to pause throughout your day to capture moments that you have. These are times where you can actually learn some lessons and actually celebrate successes. That's right. Law number 5, the law of consistency. Consistent action breeds success. And law number 6, the law of environment. Growth can only happen in conducive surroundings. And if you are the smartest person in the room, guess what? It's time to find a new room. You want to be in places that's going to cause you to grow. And that's what this is all about, guys. The Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Network is daring you to grow. So thank you for tuning in, because we're in law number 7, which is the law of design. And this is saying that, hey, we want to design our own life. And Jim Rohn says this. He says, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you guys? Nothing much. That's right. So you want to design your life plan. Now, how many of you guys actually have a life plan? And I'm hoping that Britt's going to be here today because I put out this charge on New Year's Day. And I said, hey, instead of creating a New Year's resolution, why not create a New Year's plan? And she took it to a whole nother level, and she created her life plan. And she felt so empowered because she knows exactly where she wants to go in her entire life and what she's working on. How many of you guys have a life plan? Like, we know that many of us have a business plan, right? We create this business plan. We design where we want our business to go. But have you designed where you want your life to go? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So there is a service that I actually provide called Future by Design. Will actually help you do this. I found that many people understand that they need to have a plan, but they don't know where to start. Well, guess what? That's why your coach is in the building to help you design your very own life. Hey, we can do it together. Why not build together? Pat, thanks so much for what's next? Oh, my goodness. What's next? Oh, yeah. So the phrase of the week, in case you guys don't know, is I'm finished with that. What's next? And I believe that if you live out this mantra all throughout this week, you're going to find that you have an absolutely phenomenal, productive week because you're finishing tasks, finishing things, finishing conversations, finishing relationships. And you're saying, what's next? What's next? You do that each and every day, each and every moment. You're going to find you have an absolutely productive week, massive growth while you're taking massive action. Pat is in the building. How are you, sir?
Phenomenal. And the word for me today is joy.
Joy. I haven't seen that cup before. You must pull that out of the nutmeg catalog. It is joyful today. Britt, thanks so much for joining, Britt. This is your day. This is your opportunity. This is your time to join us. We're talking about the life plan, Britt. If there's no other time that you join us, today's got to be today because I'm you know what, Britt, here's the deal. The reason why I keep trying to get you to come on and talk to us about this life plan, because this is something that people need. And we can actually take what you've done, package that thing on up, and show other people how to create their own life plan. You did a phenomenal job. And I can talk about it, but it's not my plan. I really want you to talk about it at some point in time, please, this week. This week is the week because we're talking about the law of design. Thanks so much for joining. So again, the seats are open, guys. If you guys want to join in and share some things as we go through and start talking about the tips to designing your very own life, that's what it's about today. Design your life. So first, we're going to start by John. He was talking about life lessons that he had learned. He said this. He says most people allow their lives to simply happen to them. They float along, they wait, they react, and by the time a large portion of their life is behind them, they realize they should have been more proactive and strategic. So everybody in the comments below, I want you to put proactive and strategic. Proactive and strategic. I'm doing it too. That's why I'm not talking. Proactive and strategic.
But we're all waiting. We're waiting for you to do it so we know how to spell it.
Not copy and paste. Hey, everybody put in the comments below proactive and strategic. So he says he hopes it isn't true for us. He wants to encourage us to develop a strong sense of urgency and pro-strategic mindset. A pro-strategic, in other words, a proactive and strategic mindset. As you plan to develop strategies for your life and growth, he's going to share some things with us he's learned along the way. So his first life lesson, as it relates to being proactive and strategic, taking control of our very own life, designing our life, knowing exactly where we want to go in life. See, so we know the intention, we know, but now we're actually developing a strategy to get there. So you guys know, we found out where do we want to go. That was law number one, step number one. Now we're trying to plan out how we can get there. That's the steps in order to get there. So he said, life is very simple, but keeping it that way is very difficult. Life is very simple, but keeping it that way is very difficult. So he talked about a few things about how we tend to make things more difficult than they have to be. But if we find strategic ways to keep things simple, we can keep at it along the way. So here's some 3 things that you want to ask yourself that he found was helpful for him as it relates to him designing his life. First, he said, can it be received personally? Now, this is a profound implication, and it must be internalized and transform the soul of the leader. So can you receive it personally? Or does it seem like it's too big for you to receive? In other words, maybe you have a big dream. Maybe you have some things that you want to do, but you still have not received it yet personally because maybe it seems like it's way too big just for you. Pat, what are your thoughts on receiving things personally?
Well, and we all receive things all the time. And if, like I said, if you don't have a plan for your life, the Fortune 500 companies do. And the reason life is so complicated is we got these major thoughts out there from the major companies, major processes, and there's 500 of them bombarding us with advertising and what we need to look like, what we need to dress like, what we need to smell like, what we need to drive, what we need to eat. And we got all this stuff, and we're not deciding it. Most people are not deciding it. We're letting all this marketing and advertising decide it for us. And if you want a complicated life, let 500 other visions tell you what your vision should be. You know, and so if you don't pick a plan, there's 500 competing plans out there, and they're bombarding you. And that's why life is so complicated, is that there's all these other plans, and you get a piece of this one and you get a piece of that one, and you're lost because it's not your plan. It's not your plan.
Absolutely.
So if you don't plan, someone else has got it.
David, what's going on, brother? Thanks so much for joining in. Raz, thanks so much for joining. David, I know you want to join in on this conversation. Feel free. The seats are open. We got 2 seats open, guys. If you feel like jumping in at any point in time, feel free. It's not a me show. It's a we show. Hey, let's do this thing. Hey, the second question that you want to ask yourself is, can it be repeated easily? Simple application. It must be passed on only after a brief encounter. So whatever it is that you're looking to do and looking to accomplish, as you're trying to make, as you're focusing, your intention is to make it simple. Can you repeat it very easily? Now, this is an interesting thing because many of us are proficient in some area, and this gives us an indication of where we want to take our life, or because things that are hard to other people come easy to us. So ask yourself, what is something that may be hard for other people, but it becomes easy to you, and you can actually teach or show other people how to make it easy for them. So if you got any answers to that question right there, go ahead and drop it in the side below. What's something that comes very easily to you, but it may seem very difficult to other people? What's something that comes easy to you, but it seems like it's very difficult for other people? So again, can it be repeated easily? Pat?
Well, and we all have different gifts. We're all different people. We all have different upbringing and different cultures and different tastes. And because of many things we were exposed to when we were small, and it's very common that if your parent was in this profession, you're more likely to be in that profession because you saw that as possible. And, you know, if your parent was a certain way and that's how you were raised, you're more likely. I mean, we have generations after generations of doctors. Why? Because they believe they can make it through school and do it because Their parent did it. And we have generations of lawyers because they saw their parents were able to do it, so it can be done. And part of it is not only what you're good at, but what you've been exposed to. The good news there is you can choose to expose yourself to anything.
Absolutely. And that's a part of that being repeated easily. They saw it and they believed they could do it, so they was able to repeat it and keep transferring it. So we can actually choose what we expose ourselves to. I mean, I wasn't exposed to horseback riding, so I never decided to be a jockey. I just wasn't exposed to it. But I can go watch it now. I'm still not going to be a jockey. But hey, I go participate. I can go participate in it. And then the third question you want to ask yourself as you're looking to make things simple. Again, life can be very simple, but we tend to try to make it more complicated. One of the reasons, like you said, Pat, is because we haven't taken control of our very own life. Life has gotten very simple for me now that I have my life plan. It's gotten very simple. Like, I know what's in my lane. I know what fits, what doesn't fit. And it's just very simple. Every day I wake up and I go after the same thing. I know exactly where I'm going. Do you? It's time to design your very own life. Now, third question is, can it be transferred strategically? He said it's universal communication. It must be passed on globally into all cultural contexts. So as you're thinking about this life that you design, as you think about the thing that you're going to do for the rest of your life, can you transfer strategically? Now, some of us are in the field of, I would say, of project management. Like, you're trying to build these systems out and you're trying to convey a message to a large body of people. And you got to understand, you got to keep it as simple as possible. And they got to be able to be transferred across the whole population and easily understood. So this thing that you're designing, can it be transferred strategically? Pat?
Well, and that goes back to, is there a mission? It's a lot easier to control or manage a company or people if there's a very clear-cut mission, because the mission cuts through all the rule book nonsense. If the mission, for example, I was an air conditioning contractor, so I had an air conditioning company. We had a very specific mission, and the mission was to provide the most superior service experience ever. So I didn't have to write a rule book as thick as this to say, if you go up to a house and you see this, then find page 37 and see what the rule is. The rule is to be of service. That's the rule. That covers all other rules. Be of service. And it answers all the nitpicky nonsense. So can it be transferred strategically? Can you do it easily? Is it easily repeatable? What's the mission? And once you have the mission, then you have a beginning of your plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the deal, guys. Your homework is to create your life mission. Now, we're going to give you 3 days to do this. And on Fan Friday, hopefully you'll be bold enough to share what your life mission is, because it's the mission that you begin, right, that's going to help you as you start to put together your life plan. You got to know where you're going. You got to know what the mission is. Do you have a mission? Do you know what your life mission is so that you can create and develop your life plan? Mr. Beatles in the building.
What's going on, wealthy, healthy, happy people? It's a beautiful Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the mission? What's the mission, man? The mission is to be the #1 marketplace for growing people. That is the mission. What's happening, Miss Britt? What's going on, Mr. Pat?
Yeah.
Brad's rising. Man, it's a beautiful morning.
So, Mr. Beatles, what we're talking about, man, is the law of design, right? So we just got into, okay, well, we want to make life simple. And typically, when we don't design our own life can get very complicated. So in order to bring it back to being simple, we want to make sure, look at that. Dave said his mission is to give more than he takes. He's to give more than he takes. We want to have this life mission set up so that we can then start to create our life plan. Now, Britt has done a great job of creating this life plan, and I can't wait till she shares it with the network. And we're going to wait. Hopefully by Friday, she comes on and shares this thing, because I'm telling you guys, it is dynamic. And you guys know the word of the week is dynamic. You want to be dynamic. And we're trying to get the dynamic Miss Britt on to share this life plan that she did on New Year's Day. It was absolutely phenomenal. She got a word. She took that word. She did something with it. And guess what? She said, what's next?
Right. All
right. So number 2, guys. Number 2 is designing your life is more important than designing your career. Repeat that again. Designing your life is more important Oh, look at this. Okay, so we got some people that's bringing in. All right, so Miss Behind the Shoe said her mission is to help women exist in photos. Absolutely phenomenal. My goodness. Dave said his mission is to give more than he takes. Maybe we need to sit here for a minute. Anybody else know your life mission? What is your life mission? Because again, knowing your life mission is going to help as you start to develop your life plan. Repeat that again. Knowing your life mission is going to help as you. Oh my goodness. Miss Karen Ward has just come back. Finally, Karen Ward has come back to the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy show. Oh my goodness.
Where's Miss Karen Ward at? Oh, there she goes. There she is.
So, okay, so Joe said that his life mission is to teach others how to prosper financially. Yes, absolutely phenomenal.
You know what I'm loving about each one of these missions. They all have a very common theme, and that theme is I want to add value. My mission is to add value, and the mission is not only to add value to their own lives, but to add value to the lives of others, which is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Because when we think about how interconnected we are, and we get outside of ourselves and understand that, man, my life improves, my life gets better by making other people's lives better. It just makes everything else that we do just that much better. That's all I got.
Oh no, I was typing, man. I can't type.
He was typing. That is the point of a mission. Part of the point of the mission is how can I be of service? And when you start thinking of how you can be of service, you start thinking of how you can serve others. And as you're thinking of how you can serve others, then your problems don't seem that big. When you focus on serving others, your problems fade away.
So true. You got to find something to give. Find a reason to give. I know last week we were talking about we had mentioned going to these networking conferences and these meetup group sessions where you're going in and you're meeting new people and you're an entrepreneur and you have your wares, you have your stuff, your books, your tips, your tricks, and sometimes you wonder, well, why isn't these networking events working for me? You know, I come home with all these business cards and stuff, but I don't have a deal. I feel like I haven't added any value. And you're absolutely right. When you go to one of these networking events and it's all about you, then you have a hard time turning your experience into something of value. But when you do like what we're doing right here, when everybody is saying my mission is to give something to somebody, my mission is to give of value because I know that it's going to improve somebody's life. That's when you start seeing the change. That's when you see the difference.
Absolutely. Mr. Hughes, Dave, good. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are we? Welcome to Australia.
Oh, beautiful.
Down under.
Down under.
Oh, it's great.
Down under.
Great place, Mr. Beatles. Down under. I've just arrived home after giving all day. I've been at a corporation teaching people, and tonight I've been teaching some young, inexperienced speakers how to do it better. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you got anything to add to this law of design, this whole mission thing that we're talking about, Dave?
I like what Patrick was saying earlier. I listened intently to that. Real good stuff, Patrick. I'm glad I'm here. And Evan, of course, always. The other two gentlemen, always interesting stuff. Like listening to it. You give me heaps, and I just absorb it like a sponge.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So, guys, the second point was you want to designing your own life is more important than designing your career. See, there was a statement here that Reese Witherspoon said many people worry so much about managing their careers, but rarely spend half of that much energy managing their own lives. And John Maxwell, he said that if you plan your life well, then your career will work itself out. The problem is most people don't spend very much time planning their careers either. They spend more time planning for Christmas or their vacation. Why? Because people focus on what they think will give them the greatest return. If you don't believe you can succeed in your life in the long term, then you're not very likely to give it the planning attention it deserves. Planning your life is about finding yourself, knowing who you are, and then customizing a design for your growth. Once you draw the blueprint for your life, then you can apply it to your career. So we're talking about the blueprint for your life. So we're talking about, hey, we got our mission set, but now we need to find out who we are, or find ourselves, find out who we are, and then we can actually customize design for our growth, or customize a plan, customize a blueprint. Everything we do typically has a blueprint, but how many of us take the time to have a blueprint for our very own life?
Well, and I think it's an important point that what John says in the book is that people don't do it because they don't believe it. And it's important that we have to start feeding that in, that it's possible, that we can believe it. And the way you do that, sadly, it's like everything else we have to do in life. You know, we can't eat once a week and be healthy. It's something you have to do repeatedly, gradually throughout your entire lifetime. You can't say, well, I'm too busy, I'm going to eat next Thursday.
Yeah.
And expect to be healthy.
That makes sense.
For you to be healthy and for you to start a belief system, you have to feed it daily. And that's why we're here every morning. Well, in Australia, I guess we're here in the evening. But that's why we're here every morning in the United States, because we begin our day by taking in this nourishment to sustain us through the negativity of the day.
Absolutely. So let me ask you guys this question, man, because maybe this is going to help the people that are watching today, man. How has taking control of your life, how has designing your life plan, how has creating the blueprint for your life helped you, and what type of returns have you seen? Because we're saying, John is saying that the reason why people don't do it because they may not think that it gives them the greatest return. So what's the greatest return that you've gotten from actually designing your very own life, designing your life plan, creating a blueprint for your life? Dave?
I had no idea what my life was about till I was about 40. I was reckless. I was hopeless. My wife straightened that out. Now I know what my life's about. And, you know, most of it's gone now. But but for the rest of it, I spend it kind of being happy and finding, I just identify people who I think can do with a bit of a hand up. And they're the people I sort of speak to a lot. They're the people I encourage to reach their human potential, if you like, and tell them, hey, you can do this. And as Patrick said, it needs daily, whether it's baby steps, but just keep doing it each day. It's amazing how much you can grow just by doing things over and over. You know, good things, I think.
Can you get 1% better today? Just 1%?
Yeah.
Just 1%.
What's that 1% over a year? 1% over a year is over a 300% increase.
That's right.
If you can do 1% today, just 1%, 1% better, in a year's time, that's over 300% growth.
That's right.
And the amazing thing is that 1%, when we really break down 1% and what that actually means for you, that might mean that you wake up 30 minutes earlier every morning and you decide that you're going to meditate consistently. Just get inside of a quiet space. That might mean that you eat one clean meal a day. That might mean that you have you drink a gallon of water a day. You know, just whatever that one thing is. You know, it doesn't have to be a lot of big stuff. And I think that becomes the hurdle or the challenge for a lot of people is they think that, man, in order for me to improve, I have to change all of this stuff in my life. But you have a lifetime to change. But you can start with a small thing today, like meditate or work out for 30 minutes or eat a clean meal or say hello to everybody you meet, just whatever that thing is, but just a little bit every single day goes a long way.
Or join the Wealthy Be Happy show every day for the next 30 days.
Oh, man. That's 300%. That's a 300% change, baby.
That's amazing. It's amazing. It's like eating an elephant. See, people look at the big picture. It's too hard. It's too big. It's too this. It's too that. But how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time, and that's how you grow. That's how you get you 300% in a year. Change one thing. That's all. Tweak this, tweak that.
So
I was in.
Go ahead.
You see the trophies? You see the trophies at the back of me? There's two on the screen. I was in a contest on Saturday. I've never placed in the division contest before, in the international speech contest, but I worked on it daily. You know, I was practicing it, recording it. I came second, that far away from the winning, but it was a great feeling. It take me weeks, but a little bit of each day. Whereas before, I never used to do that. Now I know why I didn't place in the past. Now I know how I can place better next time. Just by little steps every day.
Repeat it. Transfer.
Do it.
Personal. So yeah, can you repeat it? So Mr. Beatles, man, for you, I don't know. David said, hey, he was 40 till he figured out, this whole thing called life and what he wanted to do with it. What about for you, man? When was it? When did that light come on for you? When did you decide that I'm going to take control of my life? I'm going to develop this plan. I'm going to work my plan.
The first time I realized that I had a purpose bigger than football was in 1999, and I went from being a scholarship football athlete to a spoken word artist / motivational speaker that had never done that before in his life. From there. And ever since then, I realized that there's a passion I have for words and language and connecting and communicating with people. And along the next 20 years, I've done just that in some shape, form, or fashion. I've been a communicator, a connector, and my mission this year has become much more clear than it was last year, and as a result, I think I'm attracting the stuff that's happening in my life right now, because I'm laser. I have this laser-like focus like I've never had in years past. Yeah,
I can understand that. So you're not 40 yet, though, are you?
Billion. No, I'm 36. 36. Yeah.
Just a
but it does. It feels so good to do what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And the grow is showing. I mean, the grow is showing. The show is growing, and the people are beautiful. And you get up every morning and you share with Pat and ERGJ and Dave and Sam and Britt and Raz. What more can you want, man?
The show is growing, man, because the people are growing, man.
Yeah.
Literally. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, you asked the question, when did you first figure out what you were going to do, right?
Yeah.
And I think for most people, the reality of that is they first figured it out, and they've changed, but they first figured it out when they were 5 or 6 years old. Because at that point in their life, they didn't have the fear of failure. They had everything was possible. They believed everything was possible. And at that point, when they believed everything was possible, they said, well, I grow up, I'm going to be a fireman. When I grow up, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And they had that belief because they believed they could. And sadly, we let life beat us down. We have to get back to that point of believing that all things are possible for us. We are unlimited. The limits we have are the ones we set ourselves. And you need to go back to your inner child and say, now that I've had this life experience, but I also remember I can do whatever I choose. Now what should I choose to do with what's remaining? And if you can get back to that innocent belief of, I can do this, because you can.
Yeah.
So yesterday we had the word of the day to be dynamic. It looks like today the word is going to be amazing, courtesy of Miss Behind the Shoot. She said, when I was 5, I knew I was going to be amazing when I grew up. So today we're saying be amazing, man. So here's the deal, man. It's the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show, man. We're here Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Hey, you got to show up, man. This is what happens when we show up. We bring our life and we share it with one another. And then guess what? That is causing everyone to grow. Everyone that's a part of this show has grown in some arena since they've connected to this show. And that is an absolutely phenomenal statement, because when we started this thing, we just said we want to make a difference. And not only are we making a difference, we're making an impact, and we're seeing people to grow exponentially because they're connected to people who are serious about their very own life. Pat, any last words for the peeps?
I am amazing, and so are you.
I am amazing, and so are you. Dave, any last words for the peeps?
Pat is amazing, and so am I.
Hey, Mr. Beatles, man, any last words for the peeps and sign us out today, sir?
Oh, man, it has been an amazing day. I am amazing, and so is everybody on the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. Look, tune in tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here where you can get your daily dose of what you need. This is Mr. Beatles and the ERGJ and the Pat and the Dave. We are wealthy, we're healthy, we're happy, and we are out.